evening and welcome to this English news edition. Here are the top stories. Development initiative in the communication and energy sector in Dora region. And on the international scene, U.S. troop withdrawal will be completed by 31 August, says Joe Biden. Those were the headlines. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, sent a cable of congratulations to his counterpart, President of South Sudan, Mr. Salva Kiir, on the occasion of his country's celebration of the National Day. In his telegram, the President of the Republic expressed his wishes to the President of the South Sudan, Mr. Salva Kiir, health, happiness, and future progress and prosperity for the South Sudanese. The President of the Republic added in his telegram that the government and the people of Djibouti share the friendly matters of South Sudan to joy of celebrating the National Day. Finally, the President took this opportunity to praise the existing friendship and cooperation relation between the two friendly countries and people. And now, the Minister of Communication in charge of Post and Telecommunication, Mr. Radwan Abdullah Badon, and the Ministry of Energy, Yunis Ali Gedi, accompanied by the Minister of Decentralization, have in turn organized and inaugurated two major infrastructure for the inhabitants of the sub-prefecture of Dora. First, the Minister of Communication in charge of Post and Telecommunication, Radwan Abdullahi, and the Minister of Energy, Yunis Ali Gedi, as well as the Minister of Decentralization, inaugurate they inaugurate and visit the site of telephone relay antenna. The inauguration of the Djibouti Telecom site in Dora illustrates the constantly renewed effort of our national operators in terms of investment in model network to support the digital regional development policy. Another relay antenna of Djibouti Telecom, this one in the Malaho sub-prefecture, was also inaugurated by the Minister of Communication in charge of Post and Telecommunication, and the Minister of Energy, as well as the Minister of Decentralization. Djibouti Telecom has been engaged since 2017 in a vast program of transformation of the company. This vast program include, among other things, a technological change based on two axes. First, modernization of its infrastructure and expansive of the territories coverage by the setting up a new site. The Minister of Energy, Yunis Ali Gedi, welcomed the partnership between the two ministers and stressed that henceforth the population will benefit from electricity and telecommunication service very soon. In his speech, the Minister of Communication in charge of Post and Telecommunication, Mr. Radwan Abdullah Badon, recalled that the inauguration of the Djibouti Telecom site in the sub-prefecture of Dora illustrates the constantly renewed effort of our national operators in terms of investment in mobile network to support the digital spatial planning policy. Thus, people living in this area or passing through Dora and the surrounding village will be able to benefit from voice service and internet access. The prices of this access is the installation of a large number of antenna in order to ensure optimal coverage of the territory demanded by our fellow citizens following the grievance of the population of the locality of Dora to the head of the state. As part of the startup of rural electrification in the town of Dora, a strong ministerial delegation visit the town of Dora yesterday. This new 250 kilowatt generator, which is a donation from the Ministry of Decentralization, and which with the ADD was responsible for connecting, and this they will benefit more than 100 households in immediate future, and for which also the installation of electrical circuit to the interior of the houses, as well as the meters were installed free of charge by the Minister of Energy in charge of natural resources. Indeed, it is as this is a step forward toward the development of the region of Tijora and the village of Dora, and the realization of the instruction given by for all the inhabitants. As part of the startup of the rural electrification in the town of Dora, the Dora population, more than 100 of households have access to electricity. As you can see in this picture, the Dora sub-prefecture at night, thanks to the public lighting, the locality shine an achievement which put an end to energy poverty, and which above all brought about great change in the lives of the population. That's the entire town of Dora has access to electricity. A project alimented thanks to the support of two ministries, namely decentralization and the Ministry of Energy. In his speech, the Minister of Information in charge of Post and Telecommunication, Mr. Radwan Abdullahi Bahdon, said that after the electrification of Dora district, we can say Dora has become a city, a full city. He said on the one hand, noting that such project will continue, and on the other hand, the logic will be supplied with the solar energy in the near future. The Minister of Energy, Yunisa Ali Gedi, in his speech recalled that this is the implementation of the instruction given by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margili, in accordance with the vast program aiming at long-term access to the rural electrification for all the inhabitants of Dora region. And also the village of our country serve for this energy and electrification. As part of the 44th anniversary of the National Union of Djiboutian Women, the first lady of the country and president of the UNFD has honored community leaders, former UNFD members, long terms advice activities, military for female cause for 5 regions of the interior, and who have contributed to the socio-cultural development on their region. This is how a strong UNFD delegation composed of Vice President Ms. Hasna Ahmed Bilil and members of parliament visit yesterday morning at Arta region. The delegation taken part in the 44th anniversary ceremony of the National Union of the Djiboutian Women, which has as a purpose of honoring community leaders, former UNFD members, senior activities, military for causes of female. This emotional ceremony taken place in the presence of the Vice President of UNFD, Ms. Hasna Hamad Bilil, the Secretary General of the UNFD, the Sub-Prefect of the region of Arta, and the President of the Regional Council of Arta, as well as parliamentarians. On this occasion, responsible of UNFD and the local authorities, on behalf of the President of the National Union of Djibouti Women and First Lady of the countries, Ms. Khadra Mahmoud Haid, as official deliverer of a certificate and involved for this a harmony testimony icon for their dedication, their courage, and their exceptional commitment to the side of the National Union of the Djiboutian women. The Secretary General expressed her happiness and handing over a certificate of application said to these women in appreciation on their effort which they made over the past continuing year, in which aiming advancing the economic, social, and cultural development of the country and supporting women's affairs. In her speech, the Vice President of the National Union of Djibouti, Ms. Hasna Hamad Bilil, expressed her thanks and appreciate to the authorities and people of Arta region for the good reception and hospitality she received and her accompanying delegation. She noted that the delegation of the National Union of Djibouti Women came to Arta in order to honor some of women fighters for the development of the region and contribute through their various activities that affect all aspects on the side of the Djiboutian government. The purpose of this visit is to honor, she said, this woman on behalf of the First Lady of Djibouti and President of the National Union of Djiboutian Women, Ms. Khadra Mahmoud Haid, and hand over a certificate to them in the appreciation of their contribution. Further, individuals attempt to the fish illegal in the maritime waters of the Republic of Djibouti. It is following a large scale operation jointly carried out by the Djiboutian Coast Guard and the National Navy. A total of 11 boats that were intercepted as part of this operation, which also allowed the arrest of 47 individuals of all Yemeni origin who were engaged in illegal fishing activities. A large quantity of fish of different expected was also seized as part of this operation. The investigation was entrusted to the researchers investigation and judicial affairs brigades of the Coast Guard, while the boats were placed in seizure pending a court decision. This operation is further testimony to the permanent commitment and excellent collaboration between the two institutions and national maritime safety and security of our country. And now, France, about the international scene. France advises against holidays in Spain and Portugal due to the Delta variant. Paris advised the French not to spend their holidays in Spain and Portugal, where the more aggressive Delta variant is progressing worryingly. The Portuguese are flocking to the vaccination center, while the Delta variant now represents 90% of new cases of contamination. The epidemic trend is on the first and rise with more than 3,000 new cases daily. The figure, which could quickly double fear of authorities, the laters have recently tightened restrictions, especially in the sites of in the city of Lisbon and Porto, which are support which are the subject to the nighttime curfew in these contests. France advised its national not to travel to Portugal and Spain during the summer. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.